Hello friends, and once again welcome to BISPsolutions.com. My name is Amit and I'm running through various classes on Groovy Script Basics. And today we are going to see two cases, two examples. I split this entire class into part one and part one and two. Okay. First, I'm going to show you the basic of attribute class and how does it work. So this is what we discussed in the past, the class hierarchy. This information you can access from Oracle Groovy documentation. And you see there are various classes exist over here, which in turn have methods. Today we are going to discuss a class called attribute class, public class attribute. Okay. So this class has got various methods like this. There's a method called get attribute dimension. This is what we are going to discuss today. Now it in turn also have other methods like get attribute type, base dimension, and so on. Okay. And what does it return? So when you execute this class get attribute dimension, you pass one argument of Boolean type and it returns a list object. And you need to use a object type as attribute dimension. So let's see what does this code do, and then I'm going to show you how to write this code. So in this example, I'm using a vision application and I have a dimension called entity dimension. So all the attribute associated with entity dimension, I'm going to display that in first example. And second example, I'll show you advanced option of these attributes. Let's see this. So you go to entity dimension and we look at user defined or custom attributes. The attribute called market size, which in turn have got three members, isn't it? Now I'm going to write this code to retrieve all attribute, and subsequently you can add this attribute in a smart list, or probably you can display in a data form as well. First, let's see how to retrieve it. Okay. I'm going to execute this code and show you what does it do. Correct. So I have a sample code is already available. I simply run this code and show you what does it do. I save and validate just to make sure there's no syntax error. Validation is passed, and then I'm going to run it. You could run from here, or you can associate data form, explicit run it through action menu. Is up to you which way you like to do it. The code executed successfully. Let's take the log file, any explicit error, and the output. Since I display the output as a print expression, print statement, so we can see the output in job console. Job, the Groovy script one executed 18 seconds before, and when I display this, I can see a print statement. So display two first. Look at the code over here. It display attribute, right? Attribute name is market size, the one I shown you, and one more object, the same method called twice, one without argument and second with the argument. Okay. Index number. So you see there are two output. Attribute dimension name is market size, and index attribute dimension is market size. Both of them are same value. Okay, let's see how to write this code. To write this code, first you should have all information about the underlying class, methods, what argument it receives, what does it return. All information should be handy with you. Okay, I'm going to create this code right from beginning. So let's create one code, right click, new rule. I name this rule called attribute, Groovy attribute, Groovy ATTR. Okay. And first convert this to edit script. The script I'm writing, I'll put it in a description box. So subsequently followed by this class, you can download, access it. Okay, the step one, you create an application object as you did in the past. Application, give some object name, operation dot application. So if you're new to the system, I suggest you to run step by step, divide and conquer, write each line and validate it so that you can minimize the error. Okay. Probably if you're experienced, you can run the entire code and test it. Then I create a cube object, cube, give some name. So I can use either operation.application.getCube, or I can use direct object reference or getCube, the name of the cube. So in my case, my plan one, the name of my cube. You can check over here. Under application overview, the plan one, plan two, plan three. Cube, sorry, here. plan one queue I'm referring to. Okay. Validate this again line by line. You can do it only if you're new to this writing scripting. Okay. So probably after writing entire code, you see a lot of error and you get panicked. Then I'm going to create a dimension object. Okay. Anyway, alternatively, I can create the same expression, same line by application object. APP is an object name dot get cube. Anything works, right? Doesn't matter. Then I'm going to create, you can use any one of them. Just for the sake of your understanding, I'm going to use both of them. Then I'm going to create dimension object. So since it is associated with entity, it gives a name. I'm going to give entity dimension so that it is easy to recognize application object dot get dimension. Get dimension and name of the dimension, I'm retrieving entity, correct? And second argument, name of the cube. You can always refer Oracle class hierarchy to understand what method, what argument is supposed to pass, what does it return, all this information available over there. So few minutes before I shown you over here, when we run this get attribute dimension without argument, okay, function overloading without argument first method and second method argument with Boolean type. So what it returns? It returns a list object and object type uh, is attribute dimension. Okay, it's like like a creating an array of attribute dimension type. List attribute dimension, and give the name of an object, attribute dimensions, and then this is associated with entity dimension, entity dot get attribute dimension, get attribute dimensions. Okay, first method without argument. Okay, I got the output in list as a like an array. Okay, now I want to display the output over here. So if I simply display through println list, right? If I simply display this, it will display one value. I want to display all the value of this list. Probably you have multiple attributes, isn't it? To do this, I need to traverse it through. So traditionally programming language, you learn traversing through a loop, right? For loop, while loop. Here you can use each expression. So attribute dimension dot each will travel through. Okay. And I use arrow operator, give some name, attribute attr attribute dim, arrow operator, and then I put a print expression under this. Let's put some label so it is making it easy to understand. Println, okay, println attribute dimension name is, since it is a variable, I use dollar symbol under curly braces. System is going to treat this as a variable. Dollar I supposed to use outside, one mistake. Dollar, put in double quotes. Okay, now this is one method. I want to use another method as well. There's another method will pass an attribute argument. Okay. Optionally, you can validate whatever you have done so far. I put a comment over here as well, okay, for to make it easy to understand. Validate so far. Okay, line number 17. I got one extra parenthesis. I remove this. Now validate. The validation is passed. There was an extra parenthesis. Well, so when now the print expression will display all the attribute dimension. This is first method without argument. I can rerun the same again with argument as well. Okay. Now let's run this with argument. So maybe you can change the name, attribute index attribute dim. I just append index attribute dim. And again, I'm going to traverse it through. Right now, we have only one attribute. Probably you can have multiple attribute. This has, I'm going to pass an Boolean argument, right? And the definition given the method. Without argument, option one, you can pass it without argument or with Boolean argument. Optionally, you see Boolean argument, index only. So I'll pass it Boolean argument. And then the same I display over here, index attribute dim, iterate through, right? So I just change its index attribute dimension image. We're done. Let's save and validate. Okay, validation is done. Deploy this. And then I'm going to run it and test the output. Right now we have one attribute. If you like test with multiple attribute, we can do the same. So I'm going to add one more attribute for the sake of testing. Add dimension, adding one more attribute with anti-dimension. So this time we have two output. Same way, just adding maybe market type and market status. Market status or market or the entity status is active or inactive. So entity status is one of my attribute which has got two value, active entities or sunset entity or retired. Two member added. Inactive. So attribute got created with two member. Let me quickly associate one or two attribute for the sake of testing. Randomly pick some member and attach one attribute with one of the entity. Entity status, now there's another attribute, active. In the same fashion, you can attach multiple with multiple members. Anyways, because I made a structure change, I'm going to refresh my queue. So cube refresh is done. Let's rerun this code, right? So we test and validate it. I'm going to deploy and rerun this code. I append the comment as well for the sake of easy to understand. Run it and check the output in the log file. Go to application log, jobs, log or jobs, and there you see a Groovy script executed 8 seconds before. Check this. And since you have got two attribute, previous example was market size, one more attribute I added just few minutes before, entity status. This is index dimension name and dimension name attribute, index dimension attribute name, right? So every time you need to write a code, Groovy script, make sure you are familiar with the underline as class, methods, argument you're passing, what it's going to return. So that's it for today. This is the first part of my Groovy script code. The second example I will be also preparing soon and share across with you. Thank you.